Welcome to Flavorphiles. I am Michelin chef Tanner Agar, joined by my father, actual professional broadcaster Jerry Agar. We are excited to have you back. Our episode called Dining Out for Clout is all going to be about how the social media revolution has changed restaurants and what that means for us as restaurateurs, what that might mean for the content creators. And we have a great one coming up soon. And sort of talking about how, of course, this impacts you as well. As always, we are going to start with our Amuse Booze, the drink before we get going. And our Amuse Booze today, there's actually no cocktail in this glass because what we're going to be talking about is virality, and people love when stuff is on fire. And this is not a new thing. People have always loved this. There's a great quote from Joe Baum, an incredibly famous, very successful restaurateur he's already passed away, but he has this quote from like the 60s that I found in a book that basically said, if you bring fire to the table, the people will always love you, or something like that. So the point being that this idea of like, we love fire has always been a thing. And so you see this, right? Because it feels dangerous, but it isn't. You know, it's built for the video. It makes you excited to see it. It's excited to experience it. You want to have it. And, you know, flaming tiki drinks. This is a huge one. Absinthe, where they like drip the absinthe on the ice cube and then they light that on fire. This idea of fire around your cocktail has always been cool. You do need to be careful. Alcohol is highly flammable. So just keep that in mind. Legal wanted me to mention that. But this is a thing that I have now seen people doing, and I'm going to show you how to do it. It's not everywhere yet, but if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. Otherwise, you just have to listen.
Okay,
but
I would just like to say this, Tanner. There's something elemental. He was right, that chef. There's something elemental about fire. It's one of the things that separates us from all the other creatures on Earth.
Yeah,
our management of fire.
Well, and our ability to transform it.
Yeah.
I forget who said it. Maybe W.C. Fields, but something along the lines of like all human progress, or the normal man adapts himself to the environment. The unreasonable man adapts the environment to suit himself. And all of human progress depends on unreasonable men or women. But I think he was just sort of speaking of one of unreasonable people, right?
Yes, yes.
So I am about to light something on fire, and I hope that this works. So what this is, I've seen people doing this. You can do this at home. What I've done is I've taken steel wool. I've never used this brand before, so I hope it works, or this is super embarrassing. But I've taken steel wool and I've just stretched it out really thin. And then I have taken it and I've circled a cocktail with it. Okay. So my glass is in the middle. The steel wool is wrapped all around there. Then I'm going to take my limited edition apothecary matches. But so you're going to light the match, and then what you'll do is you take it to the steel wool, and
steel
you see
wool burns?
Steel wool burns. Yeah, the wool burns. I
did not know that. It's burning.
Right. So it burns, and I've done a bad job because I'm trying to, show you on the camera and balance it. But the steel wool will light on fire, and then it'll smolder right at the table, or just your personal bar top if you're doing it. But steel wool will light on fire, so you can just light the steel wool on fire, and then it'll smolder. You just kind of run the flame all the way around, and then just like that, it kind of smolders right around the glass. And it'll just look like that and kind of burn itself off and give it sort of a smoky smell. And that's how you can do it.
You didn't add any fuel to that. It was the steel wool.
No, it's literally just steel wool. In fact, actually, the only brand I could get on short notice had soap added to it. So I actually had to wash the soap out and then let it dry and then light it on fire. So I just hope everybody listening appreciates it, because it was actually a pain to show you that trick. So please buy it without soap, shred it. It'll work. It's actually better with a little butane torch, because then you can like make a quick ring and then pass it. But it's a fun little magic trick, and it does well. And so if you're kind of thinking of, how do I do like something impressive? It's just a fun little trick you can show people.
Yeah. You know who doesn't like our show? It's the legal department.
Well, fortunately, we're so small, we don't have a legal department. That's the secret. We're uncollectible. No one can sue us because we don't make any money.
Well, the radio stations have one, believe me. Let's talk about restaurants in the camera era. It has changed things for people like yourself.
Absolutely. It's funny. I obviously wasn't a restaurateur before people had smartphones. Right. I was busy being a baby. But now that I have graduated from that, you know, it's funny. I'm sure restaurant design was always about making it inviting, making it cool, making people want to be in here. But, now one of the things that we think about all the time is, and how do I make sure that your pictures look great? If your photos of being here look great, you're going to want to share them. And especially for small independent restaurant groups like us, our entire marketing plan is you want to share stuff and tell people to come. So the better I can make the space look, the better I can make your photos look of the space, the more likely I am to get bookings. And so it's funny how you have to kind of people design restaurants like this. I mean, if anytime you've walked into a restaurant and you see one of those fake neon signs that says like, but first wine or something like that,
Right.
what they're creating moments. That's what people call them. The design people call them as, oh, this is a moment. It's a photo moment. You're going to want to come in here. Bathrooms, restaurant bathrooms used to be nice because it's sort of a awkward personal experience to use one. However, now there are restaurants designed around we know people, generally women, are going to take bathroom selfies and post it. So there are restaurants that compete on having the nicest bathroom.
What? Well, really? People, here I am in the bathroom?
Yes. Yes. I know multiple people who, when they post pictures of restaurants, are always posting one in the bathroom to let you know how the bathroom is. And it's funny, Anthony Bourdain talked about how if a restaurant has a dirty bathroom, you're in for trouble because a bathroom is something you can see that's easy to clean, and kitchens are hard to clean and you don't see them. So if they're not willing to clean a mirror, they're not willing to clean their kitchen.
All right.
And the same thing. I mean, people spend so much money on bathrooms now. I personally don't like bathroom attendants. I would rather this be a solo experience. But, anytime you go to a restaurant and there's a person waiting there with a towel, like they're spending money on making sure the bathroom's a wonderful experience for you.
All right. I assume these are not videos of here's me using the bathroom.
No. Well, I'm talking specifically about content for Instagram and TikTok. The OnlyFans content is not really my purview. That's not what we're allowed to talk about from the legal department. Obviously, they sent us a memo.
Yeah.
But okay, so it's part of that, right? Is one thing, for example, is like the lighting. So if you go into Apothecary, you'll notice on almost all the tables, there's actually a light that points directly down onto your table itself. So it feels like it's dark around there, but when you pull out your phone to take a picture, somehow your cocktail seems fairly well lit.
All right.
And that's because we've literally posted rails with a light directly onto each table.
What do you make of restaurants, though, that have sort of had enough of this and they've said they were going to ban the cell phone? You have to put your phone away while you're having dinner here.
Yeah, so this is a big thing now, right? Is they say that the people with their phone have become so annoying that we don't want to do that. There's actually one in Fort Worth. It's very funny. They tell you that if you email them, they will send you professional photos of everything it is that you had. So you can still have the photos. We don't mind you having photos. We know you want to remember your meal, but we don't want people kind of showing off their whole meal, right? And so it's interesting. There are restaurants where they take your photo, like where they take your phone, like a comedy show. There are now places, this is really popular. I don't know if you've seen these. What you do is they give you a sticker because you have a front camera and a back camera. And so this is so funny. Some restaurants, what they'll do is they'll even have them custom. So it says like their name on it. So it'd be like if I had a sticker that said Apothecary, and then you have to stick it to your camera and you have to stick it around the back, and you can only take the sticker off when you leave. And if you take the sticker off before you leave, you get kicked out.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
We have an influencer coming up on the show. I'm going to ask her about this aspect of it as well. As do you just become irritating when you are doing your filming or whatever you're? So we'll get back into that. But that it has changed the restaurant world.
It has absolutely changed it. And what's funny is some people say we want our dining room to be about dining. That's one thing. But then it's funny. So many restaurants now are, how do I create content? How do I make people come? How do I get them about it? One of the reasons people are doing the sticker thing is because they say, we don't want you to know what we do here, right? You thought a restaurant with no sign was subversive. We're going to be a restaurant with no marketing at all. You only know what happens in here when you if you know what happens in here. So they don't post pictures and they don't post videos. And look, if I could not ever think about marketing and somehow that was the perfect marketing and my restaurant was full, that's like my dream scenario. I don't know how to pull that off. I don't have the raw sex appeal and coolness to be able to pull that off, but it is my dream. So if you know how to do that, please write to me and tell me. Go to flavorphiles.com and write me an email and please tell me how to pull that off because I will save so much money and time.
Well, I can tell you that Tanner is a very hardworking, dedicated person. He just wishes he didn't have to be.
Of course. Of course. I am basically we only started this show because I'm not a trust fund baby and I'm trying to make sure that it can make
Sorry.
enough money to become one. I know it's been a big disappointment for me.
All right. Well,
I know we made fun of like the bathroom selfie, but it's actually also everywhere through the restaurant. People are so much more concerned now about what textures are we using? What colors are we using? What is the way it's going to look? Is it this tile? Is it fabric? Is it brick? Tying all of those things together. It's so funny the amount of money you can spend now on a person who's designing your restaurant. And I don't say the engineer who's making sure that your plans work. I don't say the architect who makes sure it doesn't fall down. I mean specifically the person saying this chair, not that one. This
Okay.
chair, but we're going to reupholster it in that fabric.
Okay.
It's this glassware. It's not that glassware. The amount of time you can spend designing ad nauseum. I looked at 300 wallpaper samples to pick one for Apothecary. And it's validating because now constantly people go, wow, that's cool wallpaper. And I can explain why and we can talk about it. But 300 wallpapers is a lot of wallpaper samples. If we're going to do an episode where we talk about how restaurants have changed the photography, they're changing to make influencers happy, of course, we would have to have a content creator on to talk about one. I have found one of my favorites here in Dallas, very popular across Instagram and TikTok, Madison Seeley. Welcome to Flavorphiles. We're excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Now, you post all kinds of different things, but obviously our interactions are mostly restaurant related. When you are trying to decide on a restaurant, I see you do all kinds of things. Openings, you also do a great job of finding like mom and pop places and trying to tell their stories. How do you pick your restaurants?
I really try to think about what the audience would want to see and what would be relatable for them. So, obviously, everyone loves a new restaurant opening. So, that's always going to be top on my priority list. But people also like to support small businesses, as do I. And I've seen how much social media can make a difference in those small mom and pop restaurants. I have stories of them emailing me saying, you've completely changed our business. We were struggling, and your one post made a huge difference. So I think that's really important too, in finding food items that are unique or interesting or what my audience would want to go try.
I think that's really important because I've been in media all my life, and small businesses, it was impossible for them, other than maybe some luck where some reporter or somebody walked into their restaurant and decided to do a feature or something. It was impossible. They didn't have the money to do big marketing. They couldn't get the attention of the media. And now the media is kind of almost everybody. And some people aren't that good at it. You are. But just a lot of the big gatekeepers are no longer in charge.
Yeah. I mean, like people used to just go on Google and see Google reviews. And now every time I even plan to go to a restaurant, I immediately look up that place on Instagram or TikTok and see what kind of videos are out there. And I think my generation, especially, that's exactly what they're doing too. So having a social media preference for a restaurant or a business is extremely, extremely important.
When you're making these videos, does your audience care if it's a promoted post or if it's something that you do yourself? Does it make a difference to them? Or do they know that you're going to mean it regardless?
So I try to only take partnerships that I believe in and that I want to support. It's a little obvious when you do have a paid partnership because they make you put all of the guidelines and regulations like hashtag ad, hashtag something partner. And I think that they're okay with it as long as I'm being honest or it's something good. I'll never forget, like 3 years ago, I was just getting started. So I was kind of taking any brand partnerships that I could because I was trying to make some extra side money. And this gas station reached out to me. It's kind of a popular gas station, asking me to come review their pizza for a paid partnership. And I obviously did it because I was like, okay, I've never been to this gas station. Maybe they have really good pizza, whatever. Go make the video. I post it. And the comments were hilarious because my audience knows me and they're like, girl, we know you're not eating gas station pizza. Like, what kind of video is this? And I was like, okay, they're like, but get your bag, like, get your money,
Right.
girl, collect that bag. But we know you're not. Come on, like, let's be real. And that's when I was like, dang, they really pay attention. Like, they know what's up.
I think it just all comes down to honesty, because I've worked in the big media and I do have sponsors on my radio show, but I have very few of them. And I go with the people I believe in. And there's the two things. I believe in it, but also there's no hidden agenda here. People know who the sponsors are. They know what we're doing here. And I think then it's a fair game.
Right. And I do post a lot of organic restaurant content. And I think that's why they trust me, because restaurants don't really have a huge budget for paid partnerships. Right. So I am doing a lot more organic stuff. Like I just went to Walkstar last night that just opened in West Village and tried that. And I'm planning on posting it. Did they invite me in? Did they pay for my dinner? No, I fully went there on my own and tried it. And I'm going to give an honest review.
So obviously that, being honest, being earnest to your following is really important to you. Is that the best way you think you're growing it? Or, how do you post a lot without becoming annoying? How do you be exciting and wanting people, like, how do you find the balance? Because, and again, you're on the show because I like you. There's a lot of people that post a lot of garbage in Dallas and they're so irritating. How do you find that line of being present, but not too much?
I mean, I also feel that way. Sometimes I'll post on my story and I'm like, prepare to be sick of me this week because I have a lot I want to post. But I feel like it's having a natural and organic tone and being authentic, not having like that influencer voice or, being so over the top and being like, this is the best taco I've ever had in my entire life, and just being like too pushy. Like you want it to feel natural, connect with your audience, be honest, like, not rave about every little thing. There's obviously going to be some things that you might not love. But yeah, I would just say not being too showy or over the top or, animated, and being like yourself in the content. So people are like, it's just her going to dinner. Like, let's watch.
Are there any restaurant trends you think you're getting tired of and they're over?
Restaurant trends that I'm getting tired of. The dot cake thing was so dumb and annoying. I don't know if you guys saw that. Everyone this dot cake went viral in New York, and it was just basically a funfetti cake with a bunch of sprinkles on top, and it was like a hard layer of dot sprinkles. And it went viral in New York. So then every place in Dallas was trying to create like their own dot cake. Even coffee shops were making lattes with a bunch of sprinkles on top as like a dot cake latte. And I was like, do we realize that we're like all freaking out over a vanilla cake with sprinkles on top? Like everyone was posting. Every time I opened my phone, it was like viral dot cake at Bird Bakery, like viral dot cake latte. I'm like, it's literally adding sprinkles to stuff, and they're the bad sprinkles too, the circle sprinkles. Like nobody even likes those. So that one I'm over. I think that one's over too. But
how do you know though if a trend's going to be like, okay, soft serve margarita obviously was huge, exploded. I had restaurateurs calling me and saying, how do you make this? And then it's funny because now I have people going and saying, I've had multiple times groups being like, oh, well, we're trying every soft serve margarita in Dallas. Like that's what we're doing on a Saturday. And then it's very funny because I'm like, yeah, so all the ones who did it after us, are they better? And they're like, no, which maybe they're lying because they don't want to tell me to my face. But so how do you know if it's going to be a soft serve margarita or a dot cake?
I think soft serve margaritas, especially in Dallas, because margaritas are so popular and it's so hot, that's just a hot thing that people will want to try. And honestly, anything with alcohol, people are going to want to get on it and try it because it's a fun, unique. I don't think no, because the dot cake thing, like maybe I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I think like margarita soft serve, that's something like unique and fun. The dot cake thing, I was like I said, I was like, it's a vanilla cake with sprinkles. Like what is the hype about here? Are my taste buds gonna fall off because it's so good? Because I can't imagine that it's gonna be that amazing.
You know what? I'll give a little shout out here in Toronto to Mita Mita. It's a New Mexican restaurant, and he's one of the guys who called Tanner in Dallas and said, "How do you do that soft serve margarita thing?" And he's getting it going here.
I mean, it's honestly amazing. When I first saw them all popping off in Houston, I was like, that is like the coolest thing because it's kind of a dessert, kind of an alcoholic beverage, and I just knew that the Dallas people would go crazy for
Well,
it.
it was actually, I mentioned this when we talked about it, but it was actually your video saying, how come nobody's making this for us?
Mm-hmm.
It was Grace who said, look at Madison's video. You see, I told you to make it. You said no. Now Madison's asking why no one will do this. And then it's funny because, obviously you live right by Apothecary. So I made it
Mm-hmm.
and I went, okay, cool. And I'll just shoot Madison a text and say, hey, no pressure. But you said, where is it at? And it's conveniently literally a block away from your
Mm-hmm.
house. So why
Yeah.
don't you come over and let me know if you think it's good.
And then I just happened to be there before you could even have the chance to text me because I saw
Yeah,
it.
I
And
know. It's
we were supposed to go to dinner somewhere else. I go, sorry, Mike, we got to go to Apothecary. Got to try this soft serve marg. I've been begging. I've been looking for one. I found it. We got to go.
Okay, but do you think, Madison, there might be an element where influencers like yourself have also kind of inadvertently created an irritating aspect of restaurants, which is everybody thinks they have to film their dinner?
Yes. I think a lot of restaurants kind of expect it now. Like there's been multiple times where I'm filming at a restaurant and I think it's kind of become the norm. Or are you saying restaurants have to film dinner or
No,
influencers to
I
film dinner?
just, sometimes as a customer, I wish those people at the other tables would just knock it off and enjoy their dinner.
Yeah. I do have some conversations with my boyfriend of having a nice balance between actually being present and filming the dinner. So I try to pick and choose and have like a 75-25 balance because it is my job. I don't sit at my desk 9 to 5. My job is most of the time going to dinner and recording. So it's definitely a balance and can get annoying sometimes. But yeah, I do try to do it very discreet when I am around other people. I'm
I
not
would
whipping out
say
the ring light and
so
doing the
that's
whole
the
thing.
difference. From a restaurateur perspective, if you want to sit at your table and record your experience,
Mm,
this I'm fine with. When I have people walking around with a ring light and a phone, it's on a pole a yard
mm-hmm.
away from them, and they're wandering around the dining room like a lost tourist. These are the people
Yeah.
that I wish would please get the hell away from me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. It's so distracting, especially in a low lit restaurants. I'll go to dinner with other content creators and we'll be like at a low lit, vibey restaurant and the plate gets put down and they whip out their ring light and like the people next to us are like, oh my gosh. And what I've learned is that a lot of times when you have the ring light and it's out and it's flashy, that makes your content look a little bit more or a little bit less organic and natural because they can see that you're trying to make a production
Yeah.
out of this dinner instead of just, fixing the lighting. A lot of the times your iPhone is pretty good. It can lighten up whatever you're trying to film if it's dark or whatnot. But yeah, I'm not a fan of bringing the ring light to the restaurants.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Madison. I wish we had more time. Great to talk to you. Would love to have you back on the show
Yes,
another time. But thank you so
of
much for
course.
joining us.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Now on Flavorphiles, I want to do something I've always dreamed of, which is creating a restaurant so absolutely covered in painfully Instagrammable stuff that it is actually successful and you don't have to worry about the food quality whatsoever. So, this is our perfect restaurant just to be on Instagram. We're not going to talk at all about actually making the food and drinks good, just making sure you have plenty of moments to take photos of. So, to start off with, the entrance. I
Yeah.
would say that the restaurant needs to have a hidden door that is also not hidden, and is incredibly easy to find. For example, you'd have no sign, but you would have an all white wall with only one word that says drinks, and then you'd have like a bright red door. And this would also be on a heavily trafficked street.
Okay, but I have actually been to a restaurant where you kind of had to get pointed to the door. I mean, it's not quite as bad as trying to get into the mines in Lord of the Rings, where the moon had to be a specific position. It's not quite like that, but it is kind of fun if it sort of feels like, or you can make it feel like, hey, nobody knows where this place is except me, and the people are in there.
Of course, apothecary having no sign is like a thing that people liked about it,
Uh-huh.
or having it be a little effort. What I'm saying specifically is you're pretending that there's an effort to it,
I
but
see.
it's like we're on Times Square and we have a bright red door, but we're hidden. And you're like, you're not. You're on Times Square.
Okay,
Okay.
what about a password, though? You have to have a password to get in.
Well, obviously, I joke with people when they can't get in. They're like, "What's the password to get into apothecary?" I say, "Oh, it's I have a reservation."
That's the password.
Right. But a password, but especially if you're going to be an Instagram restaurant, it's like some password where it's like the password is cocktails, or the password is like drink, or the password is I'm 21 or more and here's my ID. Like it's just
Uh-huh.
like it's a fake password. You have to know it, but everybody on Instagram and TikTok is posting what the password is. So it's not hard to know.
All right. Would you make sure there's a velvet rope to make it seem like you can barely ever get in here?
Well, of course. Right. With an
Yeah.
intimidating guard out front.
Yeah.
Right? A guy
Yeah.
in a suit who's handsome but a little scary. That's who you put out there. You literally just go through the mugshot roster of all the people that are about to get released, and you get that guy.
Yeah. Some guy who can be intimidating as well as slightly condescending.
Ideally, yes, exactly. That's who you want. While the restaurant is also not full. That's the
Yeah.
Instagram. That's the Instagram. That's the gold, right?
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Okay. So now we're in.
Okay, so we get in. So now that we've gone in, there's obviously, I know I already made fun of it once on the show, but there's the fake neon, right? There, it's
Yeah.
that LED neon. It's the fake one, and it says things like "good vibes only," vibes with a Z, by the way, right?
Okay.
Yeah, meet me here. Girl get wild. Like things that just don't relate to the restaurant. They don't mean anything, but you're like, that's right. I'm going to get wild. And then it's all these influencers that are doing this move they love to do where they get fake nails and then they take pictures while they're biting them with like their canine teeth. I don't understand this picture, but they love it. They love
Okay.
it. If you watch Love Island, they do it to themselves in the mirror on a constant basis. They're just biting their nails. It's odd.
Okay. And the girls get wild sign should be visible in the background.
No, right. So that's what happens. So you
Yeah.
walk in, there's a long hallway, and it's fake florals, which is another thing I just hate. I hate it. I hate plastic plants. So
Okay.
it's a dark hallway that never gets any sunlight. So all the plants are fake plastic, and it's a neon sign that says "Girls Getting Wild," or "Cougars Only," or something like that, right? Where you can take your picture in front of it, and you're like, "That's right. It's gonna be our night." And that's
Yeah.
how you do your fit check. Exactly.
Yeah, this is wildness for people who would never actually get wild.
Right.
All right. And does it contribute to somehow the influencer vibe if you can barely get 4 drinks onto the table?
Yeah, that's the ideal scenario. The ideal scenario is all the seating is low. Now, caveat, we do have low seating at Apothecary in some of the seating, and we ask
Yeah.
people if they're having dinner or not. But sometimes you want to sit at like a couch and have a drink. But sometimes you're trying to actually like eat food. And the Instagram restaurant has no tables for actually eating. You wouldn't eat here. This is a place for people who don't eat because they're too fit, right? They
I
couldn't
see.
possibly have dairy and gluten in the same meal. Are you
Okay.
crazy? Right. It's not for those people. So you have tiny little tables that are only a foot off the ground and you have to barely reach them to be able to put your drinks down. That's excellent. Excellent
Okay.
Instagram restaurant.
All right. How about the menu?
Well, the menu should be, first of all, you're going to make sure that it's so dark you can't read the menu. That's obvious. I mean, that's
Uh-huh.
the first step. And again, we do this at Apothecary, but Apothecary does have gas lamps at every table. You can turn them up to read the menu and then turn them back down for the vibe. So
Okay.
I understand I'm mocking myself here, but I've thought about this. Okay. So you don't get to, but so the menu, it's going to be way too dark to read. And then the menu is, it's going to be like, what they're going to tell you is they're like, we're Northern Italian. Or they're going to say, oh, we're coastal Mexicans really popular right now. Or they're going to say, oh, our chef really focuses on his time living in the Pyrenees or whatever it is he's going to say, right? And then you're going to read it and you're going to go, this is just a steakhouse. It's just it's just steak and mashed potatoes and it's all of that, or basically same thing, just comfort food. So
Yeah.
so you're sold that it's like this very eclectic, sexy Brazilian, and you go, this is the same food that I eat it everywhere. And then when you order something, okay, Salt Bay is like the perfect example. Salt Bay is going to come around and you've ordered your 128-ounce steak for 8, and they're all going to come out and then they're going to serve it in front of you. But it's going to be a person who has received absolutely no training to actually do this task. So they're not going to cut it properly and they're going to seem awkward and they're trying to be sexy, but they can't. I've seen videos of places where they like get a guy and you can see him looking over his shoulder at the manager, making sure that he's doing it right while he's doing your tableside Caesar or your pasta in the Parmesan wheel or the, just some of these like over the top examples. They can be cool. Tableside can be very cool. The Connaught Hotel in London, very famous bar, has a martini cart. It takes like 45 minutes for that cart to finally get to you, but the martini is amazing and it's cool and elegant and sexy. I'm talking specifically about a guy who doesn't know there's vermouth in a martini. That's who's coming by to the Instagram restaurant. Hot, so hot. That guy's really hot, but he does not know how to make a martini.
What Tanner is doing, in case you just joined us here on Flavor Files on the radio, is because I know you come and go on the radio, is trying to build the ultimate Instagrammable restaurant, which doesn't in any way mean it's any good.
No. In fact, this restaurant we're designing is actively bad. You've seen the producers. So this is the producers of bad restaurant. I'm going to raise $2 million. I'm going to open the worst thing ever and then keep all of the money.
All right. What are you going to call this place?
Oh, I'm probably going to call this place this and this thing is so common, right? Okay. I'm going to call this place like the fish and the hook, right?
Well, that's why they used to name all their bars in England.
Right. Except now it's very classy. Except it's one thing if you're like, oh, two things that are related, right? The scotch and soda, or at least something that goes together. No, this is a place where, and it either has like an abstraction as a name, like it's just called Love, right? Afterglow. Or I'm going to name it after a woman whose name sounds vaguely foreign, right? Okay. Helene. So it's not Helen, it's Helene with an accent and an extra E, right? Yes. And you go, oh, it's like vaguely French, right? Also, I'm definitely going to call it Social House because people love that now. Social Room. Brian Reinhardt, he's been a guest on the show. He actually wrote a whole article about this. And I think the title was something like, why is everything a social house now?
What about something like Vibes, but it's VYBZ?
Yeah, I love it. That's an excellent name. And and the sign's in pink neon, but it's the LED neon. We're not going to spend money on genuine neon. Exactly. And when you're at Vibes, by the way, all of your glassware, it's like it comes in like a cage, right? You have to, or they have like a bathtub gin cocktail and it's a baby bathtub with a straw and you have to suck out of it, right? It's actively bad things and no plates either while I'm on this topic, okay? Your fries come in a baby fryer basket and your hot dogs come on a little, it's like a school bus, but toy school bus with the top cut off. And that's what they put the hot dog in.
All right. So let's talk about Clout foods, by which we mean what's the Instagrammable, hip, what the kind of food they'd serve at Vibes. Okay, so and whether we think some of this stuff has had its day. Tanner is, quite frankly, this week kind of mocking a lot of this, even though we've talked to a really good influencer.
First is the seafood tower. Have you ever had a proper seafood tower?
I don't think so.
Okay, but you know what a seafood tower is. You get, it's, you bring out a cake stand, I guess, but it's got a bunch of like ice in it, and then you stack on. It's the here's your lobster, and here's your crab, and here's your oysters,
Hmm.
and your prawns, and all of that kind of stuff. The seafood tower is always very expensive, and it's
Okay.
designed to be really opulent. And my problem with the seafood tower is they end up spending so much time making it so over the top that a thing I actually like, which is raw seafood, has become a food I never order because the price point just becomes astronomical. And I'm like, I'm not spending $200, especially because the person I'm most often at dinner with, Grace, doesn't really care about oysters, and we're fine on lobster and shrimp, and we're kind of like, I would like this if I could just, if you literally just brought me out like a tray, just a baking sheet with all the same stuff lined up, and I could spend
Uh-huh.
20% less, I would order it. But it's always so done up and so expensive because they know you'll order it for the show. You're trying to impress the client, you're trying to impress the date. So you're
Okay.
paying for the impressiveness of it. And so what's funny is I find the presentation of all of it very overrated, but the food I actually do like, and I I wish we made enough money on Flavorphiles that I could order seafood towers. It's really, I think that's what it is actually. Now I'm realizing this hasn't occurred to me before. I don't have
Yeah.
enough money for seafood towers, and that's why I don't like them.
You're just jealous. What about A5 Wagyu?
I'm envious.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Come on. You're a highly trained broadcast professional. Come on.
A5 Wagyu.
Okay, have you had A5 Wagyu?
No.
Okay,
I
A5
might not have
Wagyu.
had anything that's on this list you're going to put through here.
That's not true. That's not true. I know for a fact you've had a couple of the next ones
Okay.
because I've served them to you. Maybe you don't
Okay.
remember because it was at the end of your birthday, and that was, we went a little overboard on your last birthday party.
We did.
But okay, A5 Wagyu. So this is the highest grade of Japanese Wagyu you can buy. So much fat in it that it's actually more white than red. And this stuff is absolutely worth it. It's expensive, but it's so good. And the good news is you really only need a tiny bit of it.
Okay.
Anything more than like an ounce as a little treat starts to feel like too much, but it's fun. I will tell you, after you eat 4 ounces of it, you're really kind of, you're done with it. Like, it was fun, it was cool to do, but it really just becomes too much because it's so fatty and so rich that it just, it, my, I know this is like a thing that you're not supposed to say as a chef. I actually prefer the lower grades of Wagyu because they taste more like beef.
Yeah.
A5 is just fat and it's delicious, but I actually prefer the more, the slightly less fatty versions. And that's not just because I can't afford the A5. Okay. I can afford
Okay.
A5. I just can't afford Seafood Tower and A5, and I have to pick A5.
Okay. But then the other side of this, from the small portion of A5, is the giant tomahawk steak.
Yeah. Okay. Tomahawks are super fun. I think they're fun. I love the way they look, and I love meat cooked on the bone. I have no scientific evidence for this, but I feel like meat that's cooked while the bone is attached, just, it just tastes better. There's something about it that tastes better. And, you know, we mentioned before at the top of the show, you said, oh, there's something primal about it. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
something primal about a bone, about a big bone and a giant slab of meat. It's just really fun. And it tastes good. Tomahawks actually taste good.
Okay. What about, I think this is what you were alluding to on my birthday, caviar bumps.
Yeah, caviar bumps. What do you think? Do you think they're worth it or not? Caviar bumps, if you're not familiar, is where you take caviar and you scoop it literally just right onto your hand and then you lick it off. So you don't actually like snort it. That's gross. You lick it instead of snort, but that's what they are. What do you think? Having
Well,
done a couple of them for your
oh,
birthday.
okay, it was good. I think it's a little kind of over the top in spending the money for a little dab of fish eggs. So caviar has never really been my thing. I mean, I appreciated it that night, but it's not like I'm running back to a restaurant for a caviar bump.
Yeah, I think they're a blast. I think they can get overdone and they can be a little over expensive, but I do think they're fun and I enjoy doing them. The same as fancy champagne. Is champagne worth it? Is it worth it to you? There's great cava, there's great prosecco, there's great sparklings from all over the world. We have a whole episode on champagne if you want to check that out, whether on iHeart or Apple or Spotify. But I think you can get really great wine without paying the champagne tax. And so, is it worth it? Depends. It's worth it to me when I'm buying a bottle for Grace. Otherwise, if I'm buying it for myself, it's not worth it.
I am not a big wine or champagne drinker, but if I'm going to have one, I probably would just prefer a glass of wine.
Yeah, you don't like the bubbles?
I like bubbles in like Perrier water or Diet Coke, but but not so much in the wine. No, I guess not.
Well, champagne is just wine flavored Perrier.
All right, yeah, you sold it to me. Uh,
I'm
what
sure they're
now,
going to call us up next week and try to sponsor us. I'm
how
sure.
how you alluded to this in the previously in this episode, but the whole tableside service of like the mini cart for whatever. Do you like that sort of thing?
I think tableside service, I did make fun of it because I said when you have a guy who doesn't know what they're doing, but I mentioned the Connaught Hotel and their
Yeah.
amazing martini cart service. I think tableside service is really fun and really cool if there's a reason that doing it at your table is an improvement. For example, at the Connaught Hotel, when they come, they say, do you want this spirit or this spirit? Do you want this vermouth, no vermouth, this kind of vermouth? Do you want this kind of martini? A martini is an incredibly customizable cocktail. We could do an entire episode all about just the martini because it can be so individualized. One of the things they do is they hand you a card and they say, we like to add bitters to it. Here's 6 different types of bitters. You can smell all 6 and tell me which one you think you'll like best for your martini.
Mm.
So you're getting the experience of someone crafting the martini exactly for you on the specifications you wanted. So tableside service, when it adds to it, is something that I think really makes it great. If it's tableside for the sake of being at your table, that's the thing that I just think is overrated and we don't need. So we don't do it at my restaurants. We've talked about doing it, but that would always be a rule is how is the guest experience improved? Or are we just giving them something to take pictures of? And to me, I don't care about that.
How do you feel about bone marrow? How popular is that?
Oh my God, it's the best. More people should be eating bone marrow. It's so good. And more people, this is a thing. Here's a little tip for you, okay? You get 2 amuse boozes in this episode. So take the bone marrow, eat the bone marrow. It's great. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Tastes amazing. It's great. And then what you do is you take ideally mescal, but you could do whiskey if you want to or whatever else. And then you take the bone, you put the bone up to your mouth, you take the shot of whiskey, and then you pour it into the bone, and the alcohol will extract fat from the bone as it rolls towards your mouth. And so you're doing the bone marrow shot right into your mouth. It's the best.
Yeah, it's like a sluice. Okay, and one more thing, bottle service. To me, that's the most outrageously priced way to get alcohol.
Well, I remember somebody's birthday. They were a big fan of bottle service.
So we went, and I won't name the club because I think what happened wasn't strictly legal, but we were at this club and they had outrageously priced bottle service, which we weren't ordering. We got some shots of tequila, and we had these special areas where each group was around the table where they would give you bottle service. And some guy walked over. I've never seen this guy in my life before. I will never see him again. I don't know why he did this. He walked over with a bottle of tequila in his hand that he had paid $1,000 for, and there was maybe one shot gone from it, and he handed it to me, and he walked away. Now, if I suppose if I was a good-looking young girl, I would worry that he'd roofied it or something, but he's not doing that with me, and so I couldn't believe it. Yep. Well, didn't work out if that was his idea. So I went home with you, not him. But he gives me $1,000 bottle of tequila. It was very good.
I will point out he did do that. That's 100% what happened. But that was a different bottle than the one he was pouring directly into your mouth, which was also a different $1,000 bottle of tequila.
Yeah, and so ultimately he gave us about $1,400 worth of tequila. I don't know what he was doing, but I couldn't go to a place and spend that on a bottle of anything.
Well, I guess the answer is it worth it? It's worth it when someone else is paying for it every single time. Is it worth it when you're paying for it? You'll have to decide, but that's all we have time for this week on Flavorphiles. Thank you so much for listening, whether on the radio or at flavorphiles.com. We'll see you next week.